Hey everyone, thank you for joining us tonight here at Crypto City. Tonight marks 60 episodes, and it's pretty cool that we're celebrating it with one of our OGs. Our friend PixelAddikt will be joining us tonight to talk about AI and merchandising, and he's brought a special guest to join us, a huge supporter of marketing and merchandise in the metaverse. Uncle Vin from Illtown Sluggers and Naughty by Nature is in the house, and he's going to join us in just a little bit. I'm very excited to chat with both of them. But given that we're almost halfway into April, we need to touch on the impending Bitcoin halving on the 19th. So many of us here have some investment in cryptocurrency, and no matter how big or small, it can be really complicated to understand. And I am no expert. I mean, I'm always learning new things about it. But there's some true diehard investors in here, and we will actually have Mr. Arroyo on later this month to help us understand some of the basics of crypto investing. But if you're curious about Bitcoin, and you're not alone, with the earlier this year, the spot Bitcoin ETF stirred up quite a buzz at their debut. And whether you're currently holding and trading or not, you're going to hear some buzzwords lately. Like tonight is not a show on Bitcoin basics, but I do want to give you a little context for the words that you're going to be hearing in the next couple of weeks. So first, understanding the Bitcoin halving. Every 4 years, the number of new Bitcoins created gets slashed in half. This directly affects the rewards for folks who keep the Bitcoin network secure, slowing down the rate at which new Bitcoins are made. There is a cap on how many Bitcoins will ever be made. So they do this halving, and there have been 3 halving events in Bitcoin's history. Each time, the rewards for the miners got cut in half. First, in 2012, it went from 50 to 25. Then in 2016, it dropped to 12.5. And then the last halving on May 11th of 2020, it reduced even further to 6.25 Bitcoin. So what are the implications of this halving? In simple terms, it's like cutting the reward for mining in half, which means fewer new Bitcoins entering circulation. So this scarcity, combined with Bitcoin's cap of only 21 million coins, plays a big role in value. The less things that are available, the more valuable they are. So for investors, the halving is a mix of like opportunity and caution, because while it's exciting and it can push the prices up, there's also a lot of risks, like fewer rewards for the miners and potentially vulnerabilities in the network because they're not getting as much back. So if you're looking to get in on the action, consider the spot Bitcoin strategies and trusted names. Again, that's a topic for another show, but if you'd like some guidance, hit me up and I'll connect you with the community members that can help you with this. But with the next Bitcoin halving set to happen on April 19th, investors are eagerly waiting to see what happens next, because history suggests that it could lead to a surge in prices. But timing is everything in investing. And a lot of people are saying you should be investing before the halving. So according to research, Bitcoin might be following a similar pattern to 2016. And back then, there was a bunch of selling pressure that stuck around for about 4 months after the halving. So the Bitcoin halving, it's a fascinating event that can impact the market in big ways. And whether you're a seasoned investor or you're just dipping your toes in the crypto world, keeping an eye out on the halving and staying informed is the key to making smart decisions. So as we always say, do your research. And I also wanted to mention that the latest rumbles about FTX's recent move involving the Solana tokens obviously caught my ear. I have a little bit of Solana, but it's been making waves in the crypto world, and I wanted to just share with you what's happening with that in case you're hearing things and getting a little nervous. So FTX's bankruptcy administrators have been busy selling off a big chunk of Solana tokens. They managed to sell about 2/3 of 2.6 billion stash of Solana coins that are at a discounted price. The estate stole 25 to 30 million of locked up Solana. It's $64 each. Mind blowing. And, it's about 1.9 billion. Remember, FTX right now everything's frozen. Sam Bankman-Altman, Friedman, he ended up, going and getting sentenced. And now they're kind of moving forward with how do they proceed with all the money that they have from everybody. So, these tokens were locked up, meaning they couldn't be sold right away, so buyers got them at a lower price. But remember this, Last month, FTX made the call to abandon plans to restart the crypto exchange. They just want to take care of the investors. So instead, they're liquidating everything and returning the funds back out to customers. Sounds good, right? But there's a catch, as always. The refunds will be based on the value of the crypto assets at the time of FTX's collapse, not at the current values. So think about right now, look at where Solana is, look at where Bitcoin is, look where everything is right now, and look where it was. So you're getting money back, but you're not getting everything you should be getting. So, FTX's sell-off to Solana tokens is a big move in the crypto world, but it's a complex situation. So keep an eye on the developments. Things like that can help you stay in the loop with what's happening. And it's an ever-evolving crypto landscape. So just pay attention and be smart with your investments. But now, let's change gears and bring out our guests so we can talk about some fun and exciting creations and upcoming developments in the metaverse. Please give a warm welcome for PixelAddikt and Uncle Vinrock. Please join us on stage.
Hey.
Hey, Pixel.
How's it going, City? Great. How are you?
Come on in. Hey, Vin. How's it going? Come on in. Grab a seat.
I didn't sit last time.
If you go behind the couch, it's a little bit easier to grab the sit collider because it's up high. It's up by the headrest.
Start jumping. There you go.
Perfect. So welcome and thank you for coming. So happy to have you guys here. It's been a little while since Vin I've even been on a stage with you. That was back when I was hosting a whole different show, Yummy NFTs, when I had you on stage. And yes. Pixel, it's been since last season since you've been here, but you're a season's veteran and we love having you on that show. So thanks for coming out here tonight, guys. Thank you. So, Pixel, I'm going to start with you because tonight we're going to talk a lot about AI. And we're going to talk about Pixel from then, Pixel from now. So we're going to talk about how you've been utilizing AI. We've talked about this in the past, that you've, been able to use it for your work that you do for Naughty by Nature and Illtown Sluggers. But the technology's just been changing so incredibly rapid. And, I watch your IG all the time. You are on top of it. You are developing new, amazing things every single day. So, let's talk a little bit about, as a digital asset creator in general, and then also working for, Naughty by Nature and, the different types of things you do. So let's start with art. So you create a lot of digital art and, talk a little bit about the process and the software that you're using, please.
Yeah, no problem. So it's AI has just been moving at it, so fast. So even a year, 6 months, even the last few months. So it's being able to use the generative AI kind of part of it. So I use Stable Diffusion. That's my go-to, right? That's like the Linux of it, right? You can use things that are more online like Midjourney, but Midjourney is like a Discord only kind of play. It's great, but you don't have as much freedom, as much fine tuning, right? So I can build different Lauras for Vin and the guys and different characters so that we can do like we did with Slugga. So the big thing with generative AI now is, you can do photos and you can do some really good compositions in that, but video is where it's at. So I kind of started taking some of the Lauras that we made, these characters with Slugga and Vin and Kay, and just kind of intertwined them all and kind of start generating a lot of video. And the video is what we're starting to use at their concerts. So Illtown Sluggers went to Australia, last year, and it was amazing. And they were able to kind of use some of the AI generations, on the screen, a 60-foot screen above the stage, and everybody's looking at it. And you have 3D kind of Slugga. We had Stovard kind of help out. We were able to kind of combine, and with adding the music and that, Vin was telling us that a lot of the video techs were just amazed. They were like, "Oh, it's cutting edge." edge. You guys are, way ahead of the times to be able to use, AI to generate, branded sequences and such. Like there's other people doing it, but I thought it was, a way to kind of put our foot in and kind of show everybody that we can use a lot of these tools to help our marketing and help our e-commerce, and kind of we'll get into the e-commerce part, but it's about the art, right? Generating new kinds of art. We have one of the merch guys is we do Slugga, but we also did like a signature series, more like a high-end kind of series. And so you can take the art and you can kind of add different styles, and I'm just trying to, stay on the edge and keep on generating and learning new techniques as they kind of come out to, help everything.
And elevating. I mean, it's interesting that you make the comment that they said to you, "Oh, you're ahead of your time with this," and the reality is that if you're not paying attention to this and you're not jumping into this, you're going to be left behind really quickly. This technology is moving forward every day, new things coming out, and the people who are, I'll get to it later, or I'm just not comfortable with it. Everybody's going to blow by you, and you guys have been down in the trenches with it since the beginning. So for you guys, this is now already incorporated in where other people are just starting out, which is pretty amazing.
Right.
We do see here you've got an NFT. I know you guys were doing some NFTs way back when. And are you still incorporating some of the NFTs into like VIP passes, things like that?
Well, right now, we aren't, because we pretty much concentrated on the the art and the video we did, but we are setting up to go back on tour. I actually got off of a conference call before this. We're setting up to go back on tour this fall, and man, we're going to throw the book at them. And as Greg mentioned, or Pixel mentioned, we did go to Australia in November, and we were out there for Slugga because it's a DJ hype set, as well as a record label and artist management platform. But we went out there for the DJ hype set, and they wanted us to represent for the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So we did the top 25 hip hop songs in the past 50 years in Australia. So along with our performance and the mashup we did, we had a movie on the screen, on the big screen with us. So as Greg mentioned, we had 3D models, we had the AI animated videos on top of regular video and stock footage. And to be honest, the crew out there, the production crew, they had a pre-planned video for us for our countdown. Man, we were working literally while we were in the air flying to Australia. Greg, Stovert, our whole team were working in real time. So by the time we landed, we edited everything together, and they had their little video running, but we were like, get that out of here. We played our video and it took over the whole screen, and it was so big, and it was just next level. The production guys are like, wow. And they were kind of pissed because they were looking forward to showing us what they had for us. But it was like night and day. They packed up their stuff and was like, listen, just let them have their way. So it was really good. Yeah. It was really good. And then we were out there with Jason Derulo and Flo Rida and Kelly Rowland, Boys to Men, 112. So when all of our colleagues saw what we had on screen, they were like, man, these guys are next level. So, that's what I love about technology. That's what I love about AI. That's what I love about the metaverse, everything we're doing, and we're passionate about it. Greg is my tech guru, and I tell all of my colleagues, they're like, Vin, how'd you get into all of this stuff? So Greg and I have been rocking out for over 10 years, and I think it's important now that especially with independent artists and independent content creators, you need a technologist on your team as well as a content creator. So those are two of the most important people in addition to your normal standard team today. So I love it. And my colleagues, like I got a voicemail inbox DM the other day from one of my colleagues, like, Vin, see what you're doing and what you're doing in the metaverse and with tech and with AI, man. It's to be commended. And all of these guys come from the 90s. So they're like scratching their head. What got you into this stuff?
Right. And it's so amazing to see the output. If you guys are not, we're going to put up at the end of the show, we'll put up the Instagram contacts for these guys. But if you're not already following them, you need to, because the stuff that they're putting out there on Instagram, showing you what they're creating and what they're bringing to events, what they're bringing to work. I mean, you mentioned that you need, along with your marketing, person, you need, a content creator and a digitalist. And the reality is that's not just in your line of work. That's in most business nowadays. You really need someone to elevate your marketing and be bringing stuff next level. Right now we have up on the screen the video Blue, if you can play this for us. This was pretty amazing when I was watching this on your screen. And I mean, this is all, digital animation mixed in with the audio.
Dance right up to my heart.
Sorry, it's coming up.
Where the rhythm gon' take us.
The digital
Step by step, that's it. Let's take it.
People don't realize like the work that goes into that back.
Now we
This is incredible. And the video complements the sound so well. This is Ryan Lynn. Just amazing the way that the music and video flow together so nicely. Now,
this my favorite part. Dance right up to my heart. Where the rhythm gon' take us. Step by step, that's it. Let's take the chance now. And on the side, now we got it.
You can do it.
Now we slide.
Yeah, and it's not only that, it's like there's Photoshop tools, there's animation tools, but you gotta remember this is generative. So like each frame, each kind of prompt, each sequence. So there's a lot going on in this video. There's, the style of the video, there's the content of the video, the composition, then there's kind of the animation of it, the motion of it. So you have zoom going on, you have a lot of different kind of keyframes, and they're like, but there's different software that chains together in this Stable Diffusion. But I mentioned before, go on YouTube, check out Stable Diffusion, check out the forum, kind of, and then you can make these videos for your, whether it's a band, like an artist, like we do, or it's a general store, or it's any brand. I don't care if you sell chocolate, you sell cookies, or if you're, whatever you do, if you're a service, make videos like this that promote, that kind of show that you can be creative, and you can add text in these, you can do anything. And even post-production, after you generate something, go in and clean it up, add some logos in there, make it really cool. And that's kind of what we tend to do. But using these as short content creation to upload on IG, to use it with now we're blessed, we have I work with a guy that has a music label that have all these artists that give me all this music to use in my videos. So I'm definitely spoiled. I know that, and I'm never looking for tracks or ideas. I have all the guys sending me ideas. I've got my own ideas, and it's just a constant collab to kind of push out this content that helps everything, right? Helps the e-commerce, helps the business, but it also helps push out to the fans. The fans like interacting and like seeing new and fresh content. They don't want, hey, these guys have been around for 30 years. You've got to adapt. You got to be able to move and learn new things and use the latest tech to enhance the brand. And that's how it goes.
Yeah, we've been around for 30 years. 30 long years.
Grandpa Vin instead of Uncle Vin.
Right. Right.
Before we move on to the next topic, I just want to touch a little bit about Pixel. Your background and what you're working with outside of this is Shopify, and and selling merchandise, which is kind of how this all marries together for you coming into the metaverse to merchandise. Right. So tell us a little bit about Shopify and website and marketplace integration with all of this.
Yeah, so the Shopify angle is more about, the first case is the model shots, right? That's the first go-to. That's a low-hanging fruit. That's where if you're using Stable Diffusion or Midjourney, you're like, look, now I can create my own models with my own clothes. But see, that has different implications and different kind of complexities. There's different apps that you need and tools you need to be able to, whether it's in painting, painting on the specific kind of merch, but we'll do logos, and then we'll pull some fantasy backgrounds. I want to see people on a rocks with a cool kind of graffiti in the back, and kind of I can really control kind of these environments that I put all my models. And and the businesses, to be honest, I know a lot of people talk about displacement, but it comes to where we're not paying models, we're not paying the cinematographer, we're not paying an editor, we're not paying flights. And some of these companies, the licensing companies we work with, and other than, they'll be saving money. So to have these virtual model shoots that I can do that add all the merch and then use them directly in Shopify, whether it's there or for the ads, right? And the ads drive traffic to Shopify. So that's kind of where we've been doing. And, we're signing on new artists. We have all these new artists kind of lined up over all this year, and we're going to be working store to store and kind of just to promote. And that's seems to be the consensus of moving forward, instead of getting people to wear our clothes. And we'll still have that, but more of a UGC, more of a, social kind of media people that will be buying the clothes and wearing it and taking no shots. But we'll generate a lot of AI content for that for now.
Cool. Love it. So Vin, obviously, you've been in the metaverse now for quite a while. First saw you were doing a Holoport concert over in Alt Space way back when. I was really impressed with the fact that you were doing that. It was very cool that you were sharing with, the community and giving to them something that, they may not ever have seen before. And it was just really impressive. And there was the Holoport concert that you did. So let's talk a little bit about, you've been a performer for 30 years, and you're out there and you're doing all this stuff in the real world. And now, the VR has become so much more commonplace and more accepted, and people are jumping in. And what made you think, hey, I really want to take what we're doing and bring it in here? And how can I give the fans the best experience with like the artsy world that you had and all of that? How did you decide to build that technology into your regular showmanship?
Well, the thing is we come from the analog world in music, right? We first came out in 1991, so there were cassettes and CDs and vinyl. Then next thing you know, the website was really big back then. So www.naughtybynature.com, I'm like, well, www, I learned it stood for World Wide Web. So I was like, wow, as an early adopter, I'm like, if you have a website, you basically have your own television network and your own portal to go direct to consumer worldwide. So I was always interested in technology that way. And then from the website, they had MySpace, and now it's like, a website, people have to specifically be looking for you. But with MySpace and then Facebook and then these social media platforms, it's a larger community where if you have a presence there, they can discover you, and then you could do your real business and conversions over your website, So to me, with these platforms, and then YouTube came along, and Facebook and Instagram and all of the Instagram Live, Facebook Live, all of that stuff was good communication tools with the fans. But I felt those spaces were crowded and flooded, and then people were shadow banned and ghosted, where you can't really reach your full potential or your full organic audience, and they want you to pay to reach your organic audience and go beyond. I just felt that the metaverse was a different space, different platform, and you could go direct to consumer, and it's a better experience for me. I love the experience that it's virtual, and I get it. A lot of people, they like to see the actual person live, But to me, I think you can be more intimate, far more engaging, and then you can create these environments. So it just gives a better experience. And, to come in here and learn from all of you guys in the community and just to see how supportive and receptive this community is, it's better than real life or the regular social media, because now you have a bunch of trolls out there, and no matter what you do, people just want to be negative and put negative energy out there. But when you come into the metaverse and you come out here amongst this community, people are about being productive. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's people who do petty stuff in here, but for the most part, they're very talented, professional people, productive people. And when you come in these spaces, it's not all of the nonsense. You can really get business done, and you can make great connections, great partnerships, and you can keep things moving. So that's what I love about it. And now that we have these worlds, and now with like VR chat and spatial going mobile, where you can have your headset, you can have your desktop or laptop, tablet, and or mobile, it's the best experience in the world for me. So I get the best of all worlds, that I could always pop out in regular social media, but I choose to do a lot and really build community and build my audience and build my fan base in my own worlds. And I look at these worlds as virtual museums, interactive museums, plus we get to execute, our merchandise and execute our e-commerce. So as we move forward, we'll incentivize people to engage us and to shop for whatever we have. We're going to offer them better discounts in the metaverse and in VR than in the regular world.
Absolutely. And it's really cool too, because, for those of us who, like, for instance, when we saw the Hollowport concert as an example, you were up there on stage as yourself, because it was a Hollowport.
Yes.
We saw you as, Vinnie Brown. And then the minute you finished, you jumped off and you came in here and you hung out with us as, an avatar. And you were like, look, I am part of this. So now you've moved forward and you've done like all these worlds. You're doing your merchandising now, and now you're in here in a custom avatar that looks exactly like you. So even though, Lux VR and Second Life Rich helped put these together for you guys, and it's amazing because, for those people who are like, oh, you're just a little cartoon character, it's not the same. No, you look like you. You know what I mean? Like, it's really cool because the experience is a lot more personal, and you're coming out here into the community, and now you're merchandising, and we're going to start talking about the storefronts that you have. But the reality is that it's just like being with you at a concert afterwards, and you're showing us your hoodie up on a shelf, and you're like, hey, everybody, get this hoodie that I have. It looks just like you doing the exact same thing.
Right.
And
Exactly.
it's really it's so much more realistic. And it's just getting more so every day.
Yes, absolutely. And big shout to Second Life Rich and Brown
Rich.
Diamond. They've been really supportive with these custom avatars and all of the custom merchandise that we're developing. So again, like I said, you can come in these communities and find super talented, super professional people. And to be in early, look, this space is very early still. So to be in early and to network and rock out with these people, and then, I love paying it forward and paying back. Because there's tons of my colleagues who are definitely watching me. And I know a lot of them feel a little apprehensive, like, Vin, I don't want to bite your stuff, but can I have that too? Or I'm interested in having it. And I'm like, yes, come on board and come, get some of this, get in here. It's not just for me. I want to onboard more of my colleagues, especially my veteran colleagues, and get them in here, man, and let them see what this stuff is about.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been watching the people wearing your merchandise, which we can see some of it up here on the screen. Yo Afro wearing her little naughty shorty dress. I want a naughty shorty dress so bad. It's so cute. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're really cool. And you've got your Slugga Bear hoodies and everything. So here we are. This was a couple weeks ago over in Spatial. You guys launched your new storefront over there, and you had a little event, and it's really cool. And look at, we got Slugga Bear. Here he is. Love it. And he was there actually running around doing video. And Vin was showing everybody the merchandise. Here we go with the naughty shorties, that black one. It's got my name all over it. I need that. So, but you've got the clothing, you've got the bling. I mean, look at the little Slugga Bear hanging around the neck. And I see you guys are wearing them here. It's just really cool that you're able to take your real life merchandise, throw it up here so that people can have these clothes at home and wear them when they're in here on their avatars.
Yeah, so it's all about the phygital, the physical and the digital assets now. So we're pretty early with this because ultimately I would love to just have all of my merch offerings where you could point, click, and monetize it. And any avatar, any person, just like in the real world, if you're a fan of Wu-Tang Clan, Biggie, Naughty, you could stock your closet with these digital wearables. So I'm glad we're in early now and we're going to grow with the space. But, my ultimate dream was to say, bet, you can come in the metaverse, point, click, go to my real website. And then within the metaverse, you can point, click, and buy the same goods for your avatar. So we're working on it. Actually, we're porting over all of our worlds, make sure they're set up right. And then we'll do an official launch party. And then it'll be all about programming, the spaces and creating events so we can onboard more and more people. And that's really what I love about VR chat. They're going mobile, and I love about Spatial because there are a lot of people who it's harder to onboard, or maybe they can't afford these headsets. But now when you're going into mobile and it's iOS and Android, very much easier to onboard people so they could come and see what's going on. As a matter of fact, I use the Android Fold 5. And every time I show people my worlds on my phone and I'm running the avatar through, they're like, wow, super blown away. So I just love it. It's like, in real life, I was never a fancy guy, never bought Lamborghinis or jewelry, but in real life, I've always invested in my businesses, invested in the newest, latest technology. So I'd rather do that and invest in my business and then, kind of like be a blueprint for others to come on board. But at the end of the day, to each their own.
Absolutely. We actually have a little video here so people can see how they can navigate. This was you walking around in the store and showing people how they can actually go in and check out the clothing and point and click to order at the on a website. So
and this is actually
and the beauty about it is we own both brands. So we have the Naughty by Nature brand and we also have the Slugga brand. So Greg and I did so well with the Naughty by Nature store, we were able to license it off to a larger company. And then we retained the Slugga store and we're running that ourselves. So just because the company did the licensing deal with us, when we built this web store, we have a combination of both stores. So we have Naughty by Nature merchandise. You can point, click, and go to naughtybynaturesstore.com. And then the Slugga items, you can point, click, and go to the Slugga items. And even for me, as an entrepreneur and having partnerships with licensing companies, it's not like I would use this technology and not include them in it because they don't even have this stuff. So now I'm able to show my licensing partners, look, I'm not going to leave you out of this. This is what we're doing direct to consumer, but we're including you. So, for you doing business with us, we'll introduce you to this technology. And as a matter of fact, you need to come and holler at us as New Economy so we could put you on board. And not only for our deal, but, they have tons of other licenses, tons of other musicians, music bands from different music genres. So no one has this technology, and they need it.
That's just amazing. I love that you're in the forefront of this. I love that you're sharing with everybody and that you're actually bringing people, on board, like people coming along and seeing this and jumping in like, hey, Vin, how do I get in with this? That's really amazing. And I'm sure, Pixel, for you, it must be exciting to keep having to come up with new content and new ideas all the time. How do you see, AI kind of morphing into help out with this, obviously the Web3 technology is there, but, how do you see AI could potentially be involved in this, and how does it enhance the creation of digital merchandise?
Well, it's what Vin's wearing right tonight, right? The backpack, right? It's that spray ground kind of collab. It's that, now we can work with other them and combine and create new artistic products that we can have like as wearables. So that's just for them, it's just another extension. So for us, it's using these AI tools to kind of be creative. And we took, there was old creative that he had for different, for the album. They were able to kind of incorporate that into these products. So whether it's that or different T-shirts, so we did the Sluggish shirts and we kind of did others. So we're using AI to kind of, and more for ideas. So now we can kind of expand our team too, right? Like I can only do so much. So like having a chat GPT to kind of ask, now we have these fine-tuned versions. So I have different ones that work in the music industry, that work in, the entertainment, and I'll ask them and I'll fine-tune them on, data that's around there and just see what kind of, solutions we can come up with and ideas that we can use to, push these brands, and whether we'll create it ourselves or we'll have ideas and we'll talk to different companies and maybe collab with them. But usually it's, having the freedom, like Vin's open to do a lot of this work. So that's the big thing too, is you got to find artists and creative people that are in business that are open to use these technologies, that want to, investigate and invest into them. Some of these aren't cheap, right? Like it's hardware, it's cloud services, it's the time. It takes a lot of time. So now we'll be the first ones to leverage AI, where before everyone's, we can have different employees. So now we have virtual employees that do work with us. And that's kind of how we're, trying to build these wearables and build these other digital assets. And whether it's for the metaverse or whether it's, for our Shopify stores, it's just continuously to push kind of the envelope.
And another thing I would add to it, Greg touched on it earlier, but for us, and running an apparel store, graphics and graphic artists, that's a pretty big expense. So we save because Greg is able to go in an AI, and whether it's Nordy or our Slugger Bear, you could generate literal thousands of different graphics that you could use for your product. So you save with that. And then now in building the website and updating the website, you could build out models, AI models, and you're saving paying a model, paying a photographer. But the money we save, now we could use that money towards our marketing, our targeted ads and all of those expenses. And, hey, it's more money to market. And get the actual product and get the web store in front of people, And then it's coming into a more creative space because we're in television and film also, and we have production partners, Jessica and Michael Meltz, where we're developing TV show ideas. So we're developing the pitch decks with AI. So the concept alone, you can describe your characters, you can describe the scenario or the atmosphere you want. You put that in, we built that out. We build out the characters based on description and actually writing the treatments for the for the pitch, for the pilot. So all of that is included in AI, and now you're giving people a totally good visual of the project. And this project is a music element to it. We're able to create a digital avatar with AI, create a song and have the avatar sing the song in the pitch deck. So, I mean, AI being implemented in what we do as creatives, it's going to be incredible. And with Sora and all of these video apps that's moving forward, you know, it's really going to be game-changing technology. And although I'm a creative and I don't like to act, but I know it's going to affect, you know, a lot of people in the industry. As opposed to pushing back the technology, I'm willing to, you know, embrace the technology, because all it's going to do is empower other creators, and you won't need as much, you know, overhead or technology or equipment to get in the game. So it's easier to get in the game.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think you have to embrace it and let it actually take whatever it is that whatever you're growing, you need this to be the fertilizer and just help it get even bigger.
Yes,
for
absolutely.
Sure, for sure. I want to rewind and kind of stick to what Vin was saying. I actually want to isolate what he said. We actually created a character, an AI character, and gave her a voice. And she was saying the story of the pitch deck that she's pitching in, and she's the one with the music background just speaking and telling the story. That's crazy.
So cool. Like, that's really
that's the
cool.
kid. She's a part of the story. So, like, that's for people to be able to visualize kind of what the story is about, everything in the background. I'm animating all these photos and doing all this AI video. Like, it's amazing when you listen to it and you watch it. I was like blown away. So for us to have that opportunity, and like, that's where this is going. So if you're not doing that level, then you just have to gotta look at things again, because it's moving so fast. So like the normal PDFs or the ways you were doing things with websites and metaverse and just everything is changing. So you have to kind of think of ways to stand out of the crowd, because Vin knows, like, the music, there's hundreds of thousands of songs going up every day. Like, you can't keep up. It's getting saturated. So you have to isolate yourself, do your branding, do the Gary V shit, like really lock in, do what you got to do so that you can stand out and grow that community, grow that 1,000 fan. I want Vin to talk about that 1,000 fan concept, because that's what we're honed in on, and that's why we're doing all this.
Yes. Yeah, so there is a concept called 1,000 true fans, and it can apply to any business, you know? They're like, with especially with content creators and social media, everyone's all about how many followers do you have, and they're thinking of all these mass numbers. But there was a guy who came up with this sheet, or it was an article that explained the power of 1,000 true fans, which can scale across any business. If you have 1,000 true fans or 1,000 loyal customers, that's who you really need to be going after, your super fans or your super loyal customers. If you're able to curate 1,000 true loyal customers, which would be your whales, and for us, they go to every concert, they buy merchandise, they go to the meet and greets, they purchase the music as opposed to streaming. You know, they buy every color of the t-shirt that's available, and these are the people you need to focus on. And then you find a way to reward them, you find a way to engage them, and you find a way to actually get them to help you work. You know, it's almost like you see with Rihanna's Navy or the Beehive or Taylor Swift, the Swifties. It's a big community full of just super passionate fans who want to see you win, and you can all win together. And which is another good thing about, you know, what's coming forward with cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology and tokenism. Now you'll be able to have your fans participate in your brand, and you could pay out a dividend just like a stock. You know, you could pay out a dividend to your fans for their support.
That's incredible, and I hope that that's going to be incorporated with many more artists, not just yourself. You know, it's when you talk about like the Swifties and, you know, the diehard fans, and it's like, I think part of what cultivates that is when the fan feels that the artist actually really cares, and that, you know, when you go there and there's interaction. I mean, there's so many artists out there, and I've been to many concerts, and there's plenty of people who are just like, and they won't even acknowledge you. And, I actually went to a concert one time, and it was Miles Kennedy, who's one of my favorite vocalists, and he was performing with Slash. And after the show, they all came out back, and you could go up there and you could have your picture taken with Miles Kennedy. I was so excited. I ran right up. I was all happy to get my picture taken with him. And Slash was like, "Put the phones away. Nobody's taking a picture of me. You have to pay if you want a picture with me." And I was like,
oh, boy.
And this is on the same band, and like one person, and I was
Right.
it was like the lack of respect was, it's like,
Right.
and I'm like, we just paid all this money to come to this concert. We're coming to a
Right.
behind the scenes thing, and we can't even have a picture with you.
Right.
And I was just like, I'm good.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And that's the thing about our business is that a lot of artists are propped up because they're working with Live Nation or they're working with the major record labels. But now as independent artists, these are the tools that will enable you to even play the game on their level, because we see a lot of these artists are signed to these big companies. They don't have this technology, and the labels, they're going to be slow rolling into it. Eventually they'll get it, but
it's gonna be too late.
independent artists can be far more nimble. And that's why I built the Naughty and Slugger tour bus, because when we did the New Kids on the Block tour, the mission was after we finish and we're traveling to the next city on our tour bus, I would have everyone meet me in the tour bus, and I would do a meet and greet on the tour bus, the virtual tour bus, while I'm driving and riding in the real tour bus, and they can engage me, So
cool.
that's we're going to be doing much more of that, and that's just a good way to reward the people and let them understand that you appreciate them. But again, once you sign to these big companies and the big companies are doing all of the work for you, and all you have to do is show up, smile, and wave, you really don't appreciate the fans. And that's why you have a bunch of, sorry to hear Slash did that too.
Yeah, it is what it is, and but I love the fact that you're so engaging with the community, but you're also looking for bigger and better ways to do that, whether it's through
Yes.
digital assets and different things. Like the fact that I can wear a Slugger thing in here, makes me feel more connected to you as an artist. That's
Right.
it's a great way to engage with this community, and make this feel even more like real life.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that started too, like with the Slugger Lounge. We actually started with the chains. Vin went out and got for Town Sluggers, went and got all the physical chains. He's like hooked up with Second Life Rich. Hey, can we bling out? Can we actually get that Slugger chain in the metaverse? And all of a sudden that happened. And the people that were actually physically at these meet and greets were meeting them and talking to them. And then for them to actually be able to go after in the metaverse and kind of share and have that token and pushing. So trying to do that phygital kind of interaction and always thinking about the fans and how we can have these touch points. Everyone talks about, oh, you're pushing out emails, you're doing this, you're doing that. Like, what are you doing to engage with your fans and to be able to bring value kind of, from a branding perspective? And that's kind of that's the key here, is to have these concerts and he's entertaining them, but then it's also that meet and greet. They were like, oh, we got tickets, but we had to get the meet and greet. When he would have the other artists and other fans buy tickets to come to his meet and greet or go to both, or a whole bunch of crazy stories that we don't want to get into, but it was just amazing to see the love for them to get the tickets, to be able to kind of come and have a great time. You came too in Chicago, like with Stovert and that. So you saw, I say in Toronto, I saw, just the amount of energy and the passion that these guys put into, those meet and greets, and they went over amazing.
I love it. It's amazing what you're doing. I'm glad that you're looking to do even more with it, and just keep this ball rolling. I mean, Pixel, from the time that you came on to Crypto City 2 years ago, and here we are today, and the technology, you were playing around with it. I mean, you have all this
Right.
huge background anyways, but like this AI stuff, you were like, oh, this new cool thing I was playing with, and oh, this is new. And you come in and you tell us this, and now this is like all consuming. This is
Yeah.
everything you're doing. So it went from being like something to play with to this is a life. This is what I'm doing. And it's impressive. The stuff you've created has been super impressive.
Thank you. Appreciate that. No, appreciate that. Vinny and I were just talking just the other day, and I said, you realize all of the clients that New Economy has, all the Shopify stores that we touch, all of them use AI. I've been able to kind of get them to just incorporate some sort of AI into their flows so that it's kind of pushes the branding. And that's amazing.
Well, from a very small perspective, I use AI every day in my business. I use it in my personal nonprofit. I use it for, fun. I use it for all types of things. And I'm only scratching the surface, not even close to what you're doing with it. And I can't even imagine life without it because it has now become something I rely on. I'm like, oh, I need to do this. And I'll just jump on and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm creating. And I run with it. And I can't imagine not having that technology. And yet it's still also new. It's just running so fast.
Yep, that's great. Can't wait for this Christmas, folks.
See what kind of robots we're gonna get from OpenAI.
What's next for in VR with for the Slugger fans? What's new? What's next? What should we be looking out for?
Yeah, so like I said, we have Artsy in. We're working with Rich. So we're porting all of our worlds over to spatial mobile right now. So making sure all the shading, lighting, everything is correct. And then we're going to double down and clean up the retail store before I do an official launch. And that launch event, we'll probably do a screening of our documentary or, we're managing the R&B group Coffee Brown right now. We'll probably bring them in to perform and show their new videos or what have you. But we're going to use that space for that. And we're setting up a fall tour right now. So everything we do in the physical world, it's going to come back into the virtual world. Yeah. And we're just going to keep it moving, man, and keep programming in VR. Programming in the metaverse, keeping watching as this digital the phygital play continues where you can point click and start stacking your wallet with or closet with all of these digital wearables and have it in the physical world. So I'm looking forward to it. Definitely.
We're looking forward to it too. As I mentioned before, if you guys are not already currently following on Instagram, please, make note of these accounts. You definitely want to go on there because in addition to all the really cool stuff that they're doing, there's other artists on there that you rep, that you put out their work on there. All the really cool things that Pixel's come up and created, you can see them on his Instagram. Definitely worth following. And we'll put all of this up on our Discord as usual, so you can go on and get this information if you aren't taking a photo of it now to have for later. I'm super excited that you guys came on. I appreciate you sharing in your time with us and telling us about all of this really cool stuff that you're creating, the process that you've gone through to get yourself where you are now, and the fact that you are out there being not only a pioneer but a role model for all these other people that are seeing what you're doing, getting excited about it, and you're showing them the way. I can't wait for you to bring more people here into the metaverse. It's been great seeing like you and Yo Afro together in here, and let's get some more people in here and expand the music industry more into the metaverse. We've got a lot of independent artists in here that get showcased on different events, it's been, we've had some really good talent. DJ Marcus plays their music on MrBlockPartyRadio.com. We have a whole metaverse hour during the week where he puts out all the people from in here that are trying to get promoted. But they need to grow and they need to get more into the technology because they actually understand it because they're already in here. So let's run with it and let's get the new generation flying with it while some of the older generation works their way in. And at the end, it's just going to be amazing.
Yes, definitely. Well said. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming in. Appreciate your time. Can't wait to see you doing all the things you're doing in here. Thank you. And next week, we are actually going to have Venue GPS is going to be our guest. He's actually created an app for all of us that are in here saying, I don't know where these events are. I can't find anything. He's created an amazing app that is for both in real life and in the metaverse. And if you're looking for a nightclub to go to, a concert to attend, or an event here in the metaverse, it's all within this app, which is really cool. And he's going to come on and talk to us about how he's created it and how he's, right now there's a lot of it happening over in Horizon, but it's going to expand into all the other metaverse platforms. So this is great.
Right on.
All right. Well, thank you all. Thank the entire community for embracing us and teaching us and supporting us. And, we're learning a lot. So it's each one teach one, and we'll definitely be paying whatever we can forward.
I love that. Appreciate you guys. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Appreciate seeing you all week to week, and hope to see you next Monday night. Have a great week, everyone.
Yo, how do you throw out all these emojis and all these different signs and shit all the time? How do you do that?